Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Food School Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast on a mission to change the way the world eats. My name is Shurina, and I'm a certified nutritionist, health, nutrition, brain performance coach, and just someone with a lot of passion for helping you to learn how to use nutrition and lifestyle tools to feel, do, and look your absolute best. Guys, yesterday was such a fun day. By the way, stay tuned for this episode because you're gonna learn how to prepare for important things like interviews or podcasts or public speaking or any workshops or where you have to interact with people. So your voice works, so you can speak clearly, and to feel confident and feel like everything is on the tip of your tongue and thoughts come easy to you, right? All of that gonna give you my full routine, how I prepare based on my experience, my expertise, but also based on a ton of books and advice that I got from, obviously books on public speaking, on different public appearances, and also I got a few sessions with speaking coaches, so also learned quite a few things from them. So I'll tell you my exact routine in just a minute. But before, I wanted to share with you what happened yesterday. We did this amazing podcast. It was about 55 minutes, and it's in a professional studio here, Fifth Avenue Studios. The guys, they are musicians, they are producers, they do all kinds of content, they play in orchestra, in different bands, and they created this studio that is soundproof, and they started their own podcast here in Playa del Carmen. I have a feeling it's going to be one of the most popular local podcasts where a lot of interesting people who come here for more or less a long term will present their life, their ideas, their journey, what they are creating here. So I was a honorable first guest because this podcast came out as an idea from the group that I created in October of last year. And the group originally, it was called Creators Collab PDC. So Creators Collab Playa del Carmen, that's the city where I'm in Mexico. And then the group started to grow, but I realized I don't really have time to maintain it at a good quality level. So I kind of stopped it and I offered it to someone to take it over. And an amazing person from the UK, Bobby, he did take it over, and he put a lot of work into it, created admin group, and then they created Instagram and Facebook page and a lot of stuff. And so this podcast collaboration came out of that, and they invited me as a first guest, and it was so awesome. And I got to talk about my journey as a digital nomad for more than 11 years now, starting all the way in Thailand, back where digital nomad or remote work wasn't a thing. Like when you would say you do that, people like, I don't really understand what you mean, but okay. And you would travel to Thailand, and I didn't realize it at that time, but I was probably the only Russian who wasn't really some tourist, but actually who was living there long term. So, my journey started in interesting places, and it's still going on in quite interesting way. So we talked about my travels, but we also talked about my expertise, nutrition, health, and now brain performance coaching. And my new book, Fit and Focused Brain Body Blueprint, that is available on Amazon, and I'm gonna link it in the show notes today. Official release date is tomorrow, but you can pre-order today, and it's gonna be delivered to your Kindle device or your Kindle app that is available for iPhones and Androids and Macs and PCs, basically everywhere. Also, if you have any other platform, just let me know. I have other formats. I have PDF PDF and I can easily convert it into any ebook. It's an amazing book where I put all of my screw ups as a digital nomad, from sleeping routine to eating routine to exercise routine to just not being able to organize my routines as a digital nomad and a person who works remotely, because this book is designed for remote pros and digital nomads, people who have their work in their computer and they work from home. They don't have an office, or they work from home, but that home is somewhere in the world. Specifically, this category of people, because I'm one of them, have been one of them for more than 11 years. And I just wanted to put all of my experience and all of my expertise into that book in very actionable steps and routines and hacks and habits, wrapped into many stories and my personal examples. So you can, guys, have the basic understanding of what it takes, how you need to be taking care of your body and your brain, so you don't end up, what I hear very often, looking at this gorgeous waterfall somewhere in Bali and realizing that you haven't slept normally in quite a while for one reason or the other, and you don't really care about that waterfall. You just wish you could have a good night's sleep more often, right? If we are physically and mentally not well, we don't enjoy anything, and the quality of our work and creativity suffers. You'll never get to deliver your best ideas, guys, if you are not consistently feeling good, your best shape, so to speak, mentally and physically. And in this book, Fit and Focus Brain Body Blueprint for Remote Pros and Digital Nomads, I shared all of the science-based tools and my experience, so you can put the basics in place and feel good, look amazing, and not worry about, your health insurance, but instead deliver your best work and enjoy all the travels. So the podcast, I'm gonna link the video version of it that is on YouTube. We did it live, so I'm gonna link that in the show notes, and I'm gonna link the book that is on Amazon, $9.90. And again, if you have any other formats that you prefer to read in, let me know. And if you can't afford it, I'm gonna give it out for free, because I just want everyone to have it, and also recommend it and share it, of course, because this knowledge is very valuable and you wouldn't find it anywhere else, not in this format at least. So that being said, how did I prepare yesterday to do this live recording of the podcast? And that reminds me actually to sip on a little bit of water. So I did my water break. And hydration. Guys, if you might not know that, but the quality of your voice depends on your hydration levels a lot. Like a lot. I remember when I was recording an audio course, Fat Loss 2.0, it was, I think, like a year and a half ago, maybe a couple of years ago. No, probably like a year ago. And while recording that, I didn't realize that my voice sounded differently. And when I sent the first version to the people for whom I was recording this course, they told me, you probably want to hydrate. Your voice sounds kind of clicky. And again, at that point, I didn't have much knowledge about how to take care of voice that sounds good. And so I didn't pay much attention to my hydration level just before the recording. And I usually would do it in the morning when it was the quietest, because I didn't have a soundproof room. And I didn't necessarily drink a lot of water right before the recording. But then once I knew that, I started to pre-hydrate at least half an hour before the recording. And usually you would want to drink more water than you'd want, so you have like abundance of it. So your body has abundance of it. Because when you start talking, I don't know how exactly it works, but you start getting dehydrated very fast. And that's why you'll notice that a lot of public speakers have water and they constantly are sipping on that. Actually, you are feeling very thirsty and your voice starts changing the more you speak. So before the recording of the podcast yesterday, I, of course, did all of my hydration. The recording was at 6 p.m. and I did a lot of hydration before. But right before that recording, I drank additional half a liter of water because I knew we're going to be talking for an hour and I'm probably not going to be drinking a lot of water during this conversation, right? And I wanted my voice to sound good, and I wanted to also have my mind be sharp, because even 2% dehydration, guys, makes your brain not work also well. You start not remembering things, you start feeling fatigued and sleepy, not that energetic. Your physical and mental performance declines as soon as your hydration levels start to go down. Just took another sip of water. I'm thirsty this morning for some reason. And that's what you want to remember. Hydrate a lot, more than you think you need. Sometimes people ask people, I'm going to be peeing. Well, it's not like you're going to pee in the hour of that recording or that public talk. And if you have a several hours event, you probably have bathroom breaks there, right? So I don't think it's really a concern. So drink your water. Very, very important for the quality of your voice and the quality of delivery of that material. But of course, even before hydration, what you want to do, and it's recommended by all public speakers, anyone in the performance arena, you want to have a good night's sleep. You want to exercise. You want to do all these things that a healthy, high-performing brain and body need. And even it's been shown in studies, in research, it's not questionable anymore, that even after one night of slight sleep deprivation, meaning, well, slight, not slight, but if you sleep for 5 hours or less, your brain gonna be at a state that is very similar to being a little bit drunk. You would not be allowed to drive legally if that state was caused by you drinking alcohol, right? That's how bad your brain works. And you wouldn't actually notice that. They only notice it because they do the research. They make people do different cognitive tasks with good night of sleep and not such good night of sleep, like different tasks, right? Testing all kinds of brain performance. And that's what consistently the research shows, that your brain with sleep deprivation is kind of drunk. And that's probably not the thing you want to do when you are trying to do your best, to deliver your best. Like this podcast or any public appearance for me, I want to be my best. Like I want to deliver all that I have, all the value, all the fun, all the joy. I want to be my best. I'm interested in delivering the best performance, because in life, let's be honest, guys, you don't get second chances often. You get your first impression, and if people love you, they love you for a long time. And if they don't, and you're boring and you can't remember things and look like you're exhausted, guess what, guys? People would kind of like forget you very fast. They're like, oh, what a boring person. I don't want to, encounter or listen to them more often. So you get one chance and you gotta use it. You gotta do your best to show up as your best. And good night of sleep is the foundation of that. And then, of course, exercise helps. And also getting outside in the morning, like you would do on any day when you want to be productive, to stimulate those neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin that are in charge of motivation, of drive, of good moods. They are stimulated by light exposure, by sun exposure outside, not by artificial light. So if you want to deliver your best performance, you want to get outside, preferably first hour of sunrise for about 30 minutes. The gloomier it is, the more time you want to spend outside. But at least, if it's gloomy already, 30 minutes, probably if it's super bright, you can get away with like 10-15 minutes. So I did my light exposure, I did my sleep, I started hydrating in the morning. And of course, nutrition. You want to make sure, especially like an hour, maybe 90 minutes. Some people who do public speaking recommend 2 hours. You have your light meals. And that meal should be a balanced meal that has carbohydrates, whole food carbohydrates, to ensure that you have a balanced blood sugar. Proteins, preferably animal, because animal proteins are complete proteins that your brain can use to create all of the neurotransmitters to keep you alert and focused and driven and fun and confident. Yes, guys, even for confidence, you need certain neurotransmitters that are made of protein. So you want to make sure to eat something like, chicken, salmon, some of my favorites, or even chicken livers, organ meats. They are superfoods for the brain. So protein, at least 30 grams, like 30 grams per meal. Probably 30 grams is a good amount before public speaking. You don't want to be too full. Carbohydrates, probably like if you take in food, like average sweet potato would be great, or maybe a cup of cooked beans or lentils. And some fat in it, either coming with that salmon, or maybe you eat some eggs, or add some healthy fats from things like walnuts, or maybe Brazil nuts, or maybe half an avocado. This is a really good combination. And I probably also would recommend you to either eat some yogurt if you're good with dairy products, even though some public speakers do not recommend, but I think they do not recommend dairy products, the ones that are not necessarily fermented, maybe not of such good quality. Dairy, Greek yogurt, plain, maybe about 5 ounces, 150 milligrams, contains calcium, and calcium is released every time your neurons communicate. I personally notice that when I consume that calcium before my performances, my brain is like, you just feel like your neurons are firing and everything is at the tip of your tongue, and you are really good at being in that, flow state where everything just gets together in your brain and it flows out of your mouth, and you deliver great performance. So what I would recommend, probably have some yogurt, have some additional protein food, have some carbohydrate, and with that yogurt and a lot of times with that protein, you probably already would have some fat. So something that is also sits well with you, that's important, guys. Don't try to experiment with bunch of foods. If you haven't eaten, yogurt for a while, then experiment first, right? Not do it before your main performance with any food, guys. Before your performance, your appearance, this is not the time to experiment. You already want to use what works. You don't want to be ending up with some stomach issue while giving your performance. That is for sure the recipe for disaster. So something, again, balanced, and something that works for you. And don't overeat, because if all of the blood flow goes to your stomach, not to your head, guess what, guys? You're gonna less blood with nutrients and oxygen available into your brain, and your brain is gonna be kind of slow. So don't overeat. And when it comes to foods and supplements, that's probably going to be very interesting for you. I always take dark chocolate about 15 grams before the beginning of my performance, 30 minutes before my performance, because chocolate, the compounds in chocolate stimulate all the chemicals in the brain that are present in flow states. So 15-20 grams of 100% chocolate, and the percentage matters because I obviously go for the highest. It doesn't get better than this. The less darkness you have in your chocolate, the less effect you're gonna have. So those matters, and a percentage matters. The second thing, I always make sure that in that day somewhere I'm taking all of my supplements, obviously multivitamin, multimineral. And then again, 20-30 minutes before my public appearance with that chocolate, I also take L-carnitine, acetyl L-carnitine, that has been shown to help the brain to not get fatigued and to optimize energy in your brain and blood circulation also. All good things for great performances. And I also take alpha GPC, that is important for everything that is related to attention, to focus, to learning, and just seems to be one of those, major chemicals in the brain that if you want to do something productive cognitively, that especially related to focus, to attention, to learning, to memory, and obviously public speaking or any appearance requires you to use your memory quite a lot. So you would want to have that well, what you actually want to have is acetylcholine in your brain. Alpha GPC is a supplement that is made into acetylcholine in the brain. So alpha GPC, if you don't know what it is, where to find it, please reach out on Instagram or via my email, angela@brainbreakthroughcoach.com, and I'm gonna let you know where you find it, how much you take it, and when. And that's about it, probably. Well, not actually. That's when it comes to lifestyle and nutrition. I also always do warm-ups for my voice that I learned from different people. Things like, listen to that. So I'm going to make some sounds. Things like, or that's, it's exercise for your lips, for your tongue, to make them more active and to help them move smoother. Then also I pronounce all the vowels like e, e, a, o, u, opening my mouth to really enunciate them. I also learned about these tongue twisters, creative New York, creative New York, creative New York, or red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather. It took me a while to actually start speaking it that fast. Also, I pronounce consonants like ba, 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 ma, la, la, and trying to really articulate everything that I'm saying. And then I also check the different vocal notes with my voice, like, ooh, because you don't want to sound monotonous, right? Like I don't sound right now, hopefully. And so you train for that. And that's what most of the speakers and all kinds of performers do. They warm up their voice, they train it. And also you probably kind of like want to use it, maybe sing a song, not necessarily, very tuned or with good voice, but just to kind of practice, test your voice. Give it a little bit of exercise, a little bit of warm up. Just like before workout, you warm out your body. You also warm up your voice before speaking. And then also you kind of like want to make different faces, so your facial muscles also move easily. And that, you do right before that. And then you can also do what I do, a few squats, a few jumps to really get you pumping that, that adrenaline rush a little bit, that blood flowing with oxygen and all these good emotions that you get from movement. I do that kind of like, Tony Robbins has his trampoline and he jumps on it right before going on stage. So I do like that just without trampoline, more like purpose squats, etc. And then what I notice, I'm one happy smiling person and everything just flows out of my mouth and my brain is vibing and, grooving. So that's the prep. That again starts in the beginning, starts with actually a good night's sleep. I do my light exposure, I do my exercise, I start hydrating in the morning, I take my supplements a couple of hours before the public appearance. I have my meal that is a balanced combination of carbs, fats, and proteins. I take my supplements 20-30 minutes before my public appearance. Dark chocolate, 20-30 grams, alpha GPC, acetyl L-carnitine. Again, if you need the amounts, my exact routine, please do reach out via Instagram or via email, angela@brainbreakthroughcoach.com. And do the warm-up like you would do before any workout. And I think that what actually distinguishes professionals and people who get better at things. We learn and then we do them and we practice them and then it becomes your second nature. And then on stage or delivering a performance or podcasting, you look good. I get compliments like, you look confident, you sound good. I'm like, yeah, you damn I do, because I practice that, right? It's not a coincidence that I hope for. You do things to show up in a certain way because, guys, again, in life, you're gonna get very few second chances. You only have one chance to make that first impression and make people either remember you and talk about you and recommend you and go and check out your books and services, etc., or forget about you because you were damn boring and not really exciting, right? It's all about feeling. feelings when it comes to human beings. We don't remember what people say often, but we do remember how people make us feel. So that's about it for today, guys. I think it was a lot of information, but I think it also was very useful. If you have any questions about anything that you heard, please reach out. I'm so open to answer all of your questions. If you want me to coach you through brain performance, through just feeling and looking your best so you can consistently deliver your best work, feeling and looking freaking awesome, right? So reach out. Let me see how I can help you. If you have a remote team who also needs to be doing their best, like coders, especially in finance, for some reason, maybe because of my education, I attract a lot of those people. Please do reach out. We all remotely need to learn how to do our best, office or no office. And don't forget to share what you learned, what you found the most interesting with other people so they can get better. And what else? Check out my book, check out the YouTube in the show notes. If you have questions, reach out. And have an awesome weekend, guys. It is Friday, so have an awesome weekend. And till next time, as usual, eat better daily.